Name is David K. Kenneth Morrison. I was born, that was 1923. I was in 3 years, 3 months, and I got out at the end of 45, I think it was. When the war happened, I graduated from high school in 42, and then I decided I'll be put in the service, so I want to fly. I liked airplanes. I enlisted in the Air Force. They sent me down to St. Petersburg, Florida for training, and for some reason, I didn't know Morse code. And what they didn't want to teach you, well, they flunked me out of flying. So I was still in the Air Force. So I was, from Florida, I was sent to Chinook Field, Delhart, Texas. Small town of Delhart, Texas in the narrow panhandle. And I was put on the fire department list with the people because I had good hearing and I could listen to the phone and find out where the plane crashed. Because the B-17 bombers, they trained day and night, and the wind blew the sand so bad it just clogged up the engines. So we had to foam down the engines when they crashed. Well, I do remember a few times that at first, I guess, had me on the crash crew, and when one of the planes came down because of the sand, boy, we'd rush out there and take and foam the engines down so they wouldn't catch fire. Worried about going overseas, but of course, we took 28 days zigzagging to get to New Zealand. And then they sent us up to the Philippines where I got signed to an outfit. And being a youngster, I guess it didn't bother me, but I'd hate to have to spend 5 decks below, because I had a friend living across the alley from me in Fort Collins. His ship got sunken in England Harbor. So I kind of worried at times when I was, I just worried that if I got sunk, whether I would be able to get off the ship in time before it sunk.
This is the P-61, called the Black Widow. She's well named because she packs 4 caliber 50 machine guns and 4 20-millimeter cannon. Those twin engines will carry her fast enough to catch up with almost anything in the sky. And she's maneuverable, as a fighter should be. Very easy to handle. She stalls, takes off, and lands at low speeds. Getting checked out on her is a pleasure.
Black Widow P-61. We were lucky because this was a night fighter, so they flew at night. So we had the daylight to work on it and see better. And I wasn't a mechanic, but I left that to the real mechanics. And I just, like in Philippines, I took a Jeep and went after parts when they need certain things for the airplanes and helped put them in and so forth. One time I asked the crew chief there, these pilots, they would fly at night, but there was this one time when the pilot was going to check his plane out, see how it ran, and I asked the crew chief, can I get a ride up above and behind him? So he did, and that was really exciting when he came into a turn. I could look straight down his right wing there at the ground. He just went up there, flying around, checking the engines over, and what he might have to do is see if all the gauges. Sometimes I'm kind of glad I'm not a pilot. Boy, they got a lot of instruments to look at. There is a horrible thing that happened, worse than that, I think, is that later on in the Philippines, I guess it was, why there was a new guy that came over and he was taught in checking the gun camera in the 40-meter shell. And he pulled the trigger. The crew chief was sitting standing out in front of the airplane, and he blew him to pieces. Felt sorry for the poor guy. There was a fighter plane, F-4U Corsair, on another field just after ours. And I was watching him take off, and all of a sudden one of his bombs fell off. I saw it hit the ground, it went in the air, then I was flat on my back. The concussion from that bomb just knocked me off my feet. That was a nice plane. Between the P-51, I kind of liked best myself, and then the Corsair, P-38. When I was assigned to the outfit on the second island in Philippines, I think I pulled guard duty a few times because there was shooting going all night long from the guards, hearing noise in the bushes, so take no chances because Japs on the islands were sneaking out of caves and stabbing people in their bunks, so I stood guard duty. I don't remember if I shot a shot or not, but just wanted to see a face before I did. I remember somewhere there was a whole bunch of prisoners in some kind of a cell. I saw them, but I didn't see any of the others. I was on Okinawa when they dropped the bombs and when they surrendered. Well, I think most people felt sorry for the people that got killed because they were innocent. And when they finally announced the war was over, every gun on the ships and the island were firing, celebrating the surrender.